So tonight's topic is going to be poisoning the well. I don't know if I'm going to be able to include this in my series on philosophical concepts. Hopefully I can contain myself and present this in as neutral a manner as possible. The topic we're going to be covering today is poisoning the well. So, like good Wikipedia scholars, the first thing we're going to be doing is just going to Wikipedia because, if nothing else, it presents a very plain, straightforward, and easy to understand, I'll call it definition. Explanation is probably the better word, of what is meant by poisoning the well. So if we go to our Wikipedia page, poisoning the well, or attempting to poison the well, is a type of informal fallacy where adverse information about a target is preemptively presented to an audience with the intention of discrediting or ridiculing something that the target person is about to say. Poisoning the well can be a special case of argumentum ad hominem, and the term was first used with this sense by John Henry Newman in his work Apologia pro vita sua, 1864. The etymology of the phrase lies in well poisoning, an ancient wartime practice of pouring poison into the source of fresh water before an invading army to diminish the invading army's strength. So the idea is that by poisoning a single well, you've completely ruined the entire rest of the water supply. And the entire rest of the water supply ought be completely thrown away, if you will, because of the poisoning of that one well. And that's kind of where the etymology originates. And I kind of think that that's a pretty good explanation of what the phrase and concept actually means. But the Wikipedia article goes on to give an example that I think is incredibly useful. Structure. Poisoning the well can take the form of an explicit or implied argument and is considered by some philosophers an informal fallacy. A poisoned well argument has the following form. Unfavorable information, be it true or false, about person A is presented by another. For example, before you listen to my opponent, may I remind you that he has been in jail. 2. Therefore, the claims made by person A will be false. So I want to remind people of the example that's being used here because it's going to come up in just a minute because we're going to show an example in real life of a video that does exactly that and kind of ruins its own argument as a result. Excuse me. But remember that according to this, and I think they're absolutely true, poisoning the well can take the form of an explicit or implied argument. As is the case with basically all of these thought experiments, an argument can be presented explicitly or it can be obviously implied. In the case of this informal fallacy, in the example that was provided, unfavorable information about person A is presented by another. The direct example they say is, before you listen to my opponent, may I remind you that he has been in jail. So the idea is, may I remind you that he's been in jail is obviously implying that the fact that he's been in jail is going to be a discrediting of his character, and therefore you should discredit the entirety of the rest of his arguments. Before I let you speak, you're a Nazi. Before I let my opponent speak on whether or not markets are effective in developing countries, let me first inform you that he's a Nazi. So you notice how in this case, the argument, he's a Nazi, isn't really an argument. It's a fallacy because it has nothing to do with the topic being discussed or the necessary validity of the claims that this person might make. If Adolf Hitler says that gravity exists, whether or not Adolf Hitler is a good person. If Adolf Hitler thinks something along the lines of, it's good not to beat your dog, then does that mean that it's not good to beat your dog? Well, that's the obvious implication of the argument that's being presented, the fallacy, which is that poisoning of the well. This person is a Nazi, therefore ignore his arguments because he's a Nazi, and that's regardless of whether or not the claim that this guy is a Nazi is true, right? It's regardless of whether or not the claim that this guy, from the example that Wikipedia cites, went to jail. But remember that the guy isn't saying explicitly the reason I'm saying that he went to jail is because because that's a method of discrediting the argumenter's character and therefore discrediting the argument. But that's obviously implied. Why would you include that statement, which is such an obvious, complete non sequitur, and an obvious use of attack on character? Why would you do that if you didn't think it was relevant. Why would you reveal this piece of information unless you thought it was relevant in building your case or attacking somebody else's argument? So I just want to get that out of the way. We're not going to read the entire Wikipedia article, even though it's only like 4 more sentences long, because this is the most common place where you're going to see a poisoning of the well. And speaking of that, let's go ahead and see what a real life example of that looks like. So what we're going to do is open up this video. The video is called Line Goes Up, the Problem with NFTs. And what I've done is just jumped straight to a later chapter in the video called Bitcoin. And this is going to be a conversation about NFTs and about cryptocurrency. I've jumped to this point because this is about where you can start to get an idea of where not only the examples are going to be, but it's kind of the place where it kind of builds the relevance as to why it is important not to engage in poisoning of the well.
This naked display of greed and fraud created what would be fertile soil for both.
So again, we're starting off with this naked display of, let's go back to the chapter's beginning.
This naked display of greed and fraud created.
This naked display of greed and fraud. So we're already characterizing what's about to come in a certain way.
Created what would be fertile soil for both anti-capitalist movements.
What would be both fertile soil for capitalist, anti-capitalist movements
and hyper-capitalist
movements.
Both groups of people who saw themselves as being screwed over by the system, with one group diagnosing the problem as the system's inherently corrupt and corrupting incentives, and the other seeing the crisis as a consequence of too much regulation, too much exclusion. The hyper-capitalist or anarcho-capitalist argument is that in a less constrained market, there would be more incentive to call foul, that regulation had only succeeded in creating an in-group that was effectively able to conspire without competition. Of course, this argument fails to consider that a substantial number of people within the system did, in fact, get fabulously wealthy specifically by betting against the synthetic cess of the market, but regardless. Into this environment in 2009 arrived Bitcoin, an all-electronic peer-to-peer currency. Philosophically, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general was paraded as an end to banks and centralized currency. This is what will form the bedrock, both philosophical and technological, that NFTs will be built on top of. It's a bit of a hike from here to the Bored Ape Yacht Club, so I guess get ready for that. Strap in. As we get into this, we're going to have to deal with a lot of vocabulary, need to deal with a lot of complexity. Some of this is the result of systems that are very technically intricate, and some of this is from systems that are poorly designed or deliberately obtuse in order to make them difficult to understand and thus appear more legitimate. The entire subject sits at the intersection of two fields that are notoriously prone to hype-based obfuscation, computer tech and finance, and inherits a lot of bad habits from both, with a reputation for making things deliberately more difficult to understand, specifically to create the illusion that only they are smart enough to understand it.
So notice how he's characterized the motivations here. Notice that he's in this way characterized the motivations behind the thing as a way of arguing basically against the thing. What are we supposed to think if the motivations that he's intimating here, what are we supposed to think about the thing if the motivations that he's presenting here are characterized in the manner that he's characterized them?
Mining and minting are both methods of making tokens, which are the base thing that blockchains deal with, but the two are colloquially different processes, where mining is a coin token created as a result of the consensus protocol, and minting is user-initiated addition of a token to a blockchain. All blockchains are made of nodes, and these nodes can be watcher nodes, miner nodes, or validator nodes, though most miner nodes are also validator nodes. Fractionalization is the process of taking one asset and creating a new asset that represents portions of the original. So you get dog,
So before he goes on, everything he presents there as a matter of fact is actually really well laid out. It's actually very close to true. So we've presented neutral fact pattern, but prior to that, when we're describing the thing that he's going to build off of this fact pattern, we've already poisoned the well. So if you're looking at this from a neutral perspective, can we accept that he's presenting these facts in a manner that is reflective of good faith? It's tough to do that. I understand when you've already poisoned the well in this manner. If you had instead presented everything that was characterized prior in a neutral manner, the way you presented the facts you just presented, then we're not questioning the good faith of your presentation in this video, and you aren't losing a number of viewers. You aren't losing the good points you're making by burying them in, unfortunately, poisoning the well.
Meme coin crypto DeFi venture capital fund backed by the fractionalization of the original Doge meme sold as an NFT to Pleaser DAO on the Ethereum network. I'm sorry, some of this is just gonna be like that. The idea behind cryptocurrency is that your digital wallet functions the same as a bank account. There's no need for a bank to hold and process your transactions because rather than holding a sum that conceptually represents physical currency, the crypto coins in your crypto wallet are the actual money. And because this money isn't issued by a government, it is resistant to historical cash crises like hyperinflation caused by governments devaluing their currency on purpose or by accident.
This is all actually true so far. Again, when you present things in a neutral manner, it's easy to accept as true.
It brings the flexibility and anonymity of cash and barter to the digital realm, allowing individuals to transact without oversight or intermediaries. And in a one-paragraph pitch, you can see the appeal. There's a compelling narrative there. But, of course, in the 12 years since then, none of that played out as designed. Bitcoin was structurally too slow and expensive to handle regular commerce. The whole thing basically came out the gate as a speculative financial vehicle.
So this is, again, we're kind of true. Now, the purpose of, I wish he would spend more time focusing on the actual purpose rather than poisoning the well by impugning the creators with false motive. But the intention was what he basically mentioned in passing was for it to act as a substitute currency for something like the US dollar and for fiat currency for the reasons that he intimated, that it would provide certain utility that the US dollar wouldn't.
And so the only consumer market that proved to be a viable use was buying and selling prohibited drugs, where the high fees, rapid price fluctuations, and
so again, this is what he's basically done is said it's the only use is either speculative or to buy illegal things, to break the law. Again, this is obvious. This is frankly just not true, as evidenced by the fact that by the number of people who are not using it for that purpose, and somebody like Joel Valenzuela, who has been made famous by the virtue of the fact that all he uses the cryptocurrencies he has, all he uses them for is as a currency. It is correct that speculative investment in currencies, no matter what they are, is unbelievably high-risk venture and something that, not financial advice, most people should be staying the hell away from because it's unbelievably difficult to get right and to get rich off of. Excuse me. But it's not the only thing to do. Correct. Speculative investment is a huge part of their investment in things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Doge, most of the currencies. That's true. But he's describing the investment as speculative to a very particular audience or as being just criminal. And that's just, first things first, it's not only not true, but why would you present only these two uses when its use as a currency in legitimate markets obviously is taking place? Again, if I'm to think about crypto as only being, speculative investment and speculators evil, and also criminals, then what the heck am I supposed to think of crypto in the first place? Do you see how we're now throwing out all of the water because these two wells have been poisoned?
And multi-hour transaction times were mitigated by receiving LSD in the mail a week later. And as far as banking is concerned, Bitcoin was never designed to solve the actual problems created by the banking industry, only to be the new medium by which they operated. The principal offering wasn't revolution, but at best a changing of the guard. The gripe is not with the outcomes of 2008, but the fact that you had to be well connected in order to get in on the grift in 2006.
So you see how he's characterizing the thing as a grift. Again.
And even the change of the guard is an illusion. Old money finance assholes like the Winklevoss
So we've called these guys assholes.
Twins were some of the first big names to jump onto crypto.
I mean, is this not just this guy is a Nazi, therefore ignore his arguments? These guys are bad people somehow, and therefore crypto bad?
Where they remain to this day. Financial criminal Jordan Belfort, convicted of fraud for running pump and dump schemes and barred for life from trading regulated securities or acting as a broker, loves crypto.
Holy crap, we can't get a more perfect example of poisoning the well. This guy loves crypto. Here's what you should think of crypto. This guy loves crypto, and this guy's an asshole. Therefore, if this guy bad, and this guy like crypto, what are we supposed to think? Right? We're not presenting a valid argument about crypto. We're just smearing crypto with this effectively guilt by association.
Venture capitalist Chris Dixon, who has made huge bank off the old web in his role as a general partner at VC firm Andreessen Horowitz, is super popular in the NFT space.
So super rich person buys NFTs? What are we supposed to think? We know what his audience is. We know that they're the leftist ilk that believes that anyone with more money than me is evil. What are we supposed to think when you present NFTs and crypto in this manner?
He likes to paint himself as an outsider underdog, fighting the gatekeepers, but he also sits on the boards of Coinbase, a large cryptocurrency exchange that makes money by being the gatekeeper, collecting a fee on all entries and exits to the crypto economy.
As a gatekeeper? And again, this is kind of irrelevant to his case. Like him saying that, listen, I'm going to be well invested in this thing, and I'd like to be well invested in because I consider my investments wise, then I would consider anyone else who invests in this wise as well. And by the way, that's part of why I'm sitting on the board of Coinbase. This isn't an element of hypocrisy. Like, you can have one and the other and still remain consistent.
And Oculus VR, which is owned by Meta, nay Facebook. Peter Thiel, who also went from wealthy to ultra wealthy off the Web2 boom via PayPal, loves crypto and is friends with a bunch of eugenics advocates who promote.
Oh my God, you can't possibly get a more perfect example of poisoning the well. This guy is bad because people he associate bad. Picture I'm going to show is with him shaking Donald Trump's hands. What do you honestly think we're supposed to take of this? What is the message that you're sending? Crypto bad because these guy bad.
Promote cryptocurrency as a return to sound money for a whole bunch of extremely racist reasons, because when they start talking about banks and bankers, they mean Jews.
The anti-Semitism lurking in dark corners of the cryptocurrency community, the core beliefs driving Bitcoin, can be twisted into something much darker. Remember the example I gave? This guy a Nazi? He liked crypto bad? Do you see what I'm saying here? And we're not showing actual proof or evidence of the fact that this person is an anti-Semite or something along those lines, or is a Nazi. All we're showing is somebody else making that claim. So not only do we have the fallacy of poisoning the well, we have the appeal to authority fallacy. This guy said it, therefore it's true. Like my proof that the thing is true is that somebody else said the thing is true.
Some of the largest institutional holders of cryptocurrency are the exact same investment banks that created the subprime loan crash.
Okay, we have to stop here. This is just yet another example of poisoning the well. And we're going to just stop here because the whole point of this video is to just show you what poisoning of the well is. And the sad part is, as you can see at the bottom of your screen, and I'll try to zoom this up so you guys can see it easier, this video is 2 hours and 18 minutes long. In fact, 2 hours, 18 minutes, 22 seconds long. And a lot of the fact-based claims that he's presenting are actually true. And he's actually got some legitimate and valid criticisms of what NFTs have come to colloquially refer, right? What we colloquially conceive of with a non-fungible token is something that is worthy of criticism, and he actually, at the end of this video, does provide some of that criticism. But why would I stick around? Why would I stick around to see the rest of his presentation if he's muddled it so deeply in the poisoning of the well fallacy? Why would I honestly stick around to hear what might be legitimate and valid points when he's shown that he's not going to present the argument right off the beginning with any element of good faith? Instead, what he's done is poisoned the well. So now I hope you guys understand what poisoning the well is and why it's bad, because when you do it, then nobody's going to listen to the rest of the argument if they've caught that you've poisoned the well. And if you do poison the well and they do stick with you, all that they've shown is confirmation bias, that they agreed with your framing in the first place. So this is something that we shouldn't do. And honestly, the place where I see it the most is in the written article. Stop using adjectives. Stop using adjectives. Stop using words and nouns that are loaded. And I try to do this within my own ranks, right? I'm friends with some libertarians, love their politic, but when it comes to their writing, I've had to beat them over the head with this concept. If you neutrally present the facts of the case, generally speaking, people will come to not only the right conclusion, but the conclusion that you want them to come to anyways. For example, if you're a libertarian and you hate government, then it isn't helpful at all to load an article with the fascist United States of America or to no longer capitalize U and S in the United States as a way of basically saying that I don't believe that the states are united because the United States evil or something along those lines. Not only is it a fallacy, not only is it incorrect, not only is it just generically bad and kind of an indicator of bad faith, it isn't going to help you win people over. So when you present things in a neutral tone, again, and in a neutral manner, the way that this guy did in the beginning of this video with some of the fact-based claims he was presenting, you're going to get people on board. So not only is it better, it's just in general a better thing for you to do to not engage in this, it's going to be more effective. It's going to be more persuasive. So again, hopefully you guys now understand what poisoning the well is, have seen examples of it in use, and understand both not only how to avoid using it, but also why you should avoid using it.